Welcome to Ear Biscuits. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. Joining us today, once again, as part of our Ear Biscuits at VidCon series, is OG YouTuber and the Guinness World Record holder for most consecutive daily vlogs posted on YouTube, Charles Trippy.
Now, Charles is truly a pioneer of entertainment and a friend of ours. He launched his Charles Trippy channel way back in May of 2006 and immediately began defining a genre of clickable web content. In 2008, he started a second channel, the CTFXC, aka Internet Killed Television, and uploaded daily vlogs over there. And he hasn't stopped for going on 7 years. That's right. Charles has been uploading a vlog, basically a reality montage of highlights of his day, every day for 7 years, and he hasn't missed a single day, hence the record. And it turns out a lot happens over that amount of time. For one, you amass 1.5 million subscribers and over 670 million video views. You also share life-altering experiences like a surprise engagement proposal, vacations, getting tattoos, touring with his band, We the Kings, divorce, and even brain surgery. The dude has filmed his own brain surgery.
Yes, he did. And he kept going right through it, sharing his daily life on YouTube to this day, making him arguably the most determined vlogger of all time. And we talked to him about that determination, his process, and the motivation behind his choice to bear all of his life to his fans. We also spoke about those brain tumors, the brain tumors that he had, and the surgeries that he had to go through as a result. He tells the whole story of how it went down and also how vlogging became a therapeutic way for him to deal with it. He also describes the whole process around how he was able to vlog his entire brain surgery, the second brain surgery, and you're gonna wanna stick around to hear about that. And later in the conversation, we talked about something that we've been anxious to talk with Charles about for some time, and that is his relationship with 3 different Allies, including what it was like to experience the massive fan reaction to his separation from his wife, Alli Speed, and his perspective on all of the internet speculation behind that.
And we know it wasn't easy for Charles to talk about all this stuff with us. I mean, he already put it out there over the course of the years of experience in it,
Right.
but just, in fact, he said it's the first time that he went back and kind of encapsulated it in a conversation and talked about and started to process some of the divorce again. So we really do appreciate Charles being open with us and our friendship with him. Mm-hmm. We had a great conversation and we know you'll enjoy it too. But first, we want to take a moment to remind you to support entertainment by getting some of our merch, y'all. RhettLink.com/store.
If you want to find more ways to express your mythical beasthood, head over there to RhettLink.com/store. Check out all the things we got available, like bobbleheads, hoodies, posters, wristbands, shirts, hats, coffee mugs. All of that can be found over there at RhettLink.com/store. Again, it's a great way to express your mythical beasthood and also support entertainment. Thanks for doing that. Now, on to the biscuit.
I was telling Ray, I was trying to remember the exact timeline of like us first meeting and then...
That's a very good question. I don't remember, it just kind of happened.
Well, I know the first time we met in person was in Philly in 2008.
Oh, was it one of those YouTube things? What
yeah, you were going to that. Rhett and I, we were just there we were doing videos with Alka-Seltzer. And we did the Philly
it was the Philly cheesesteak thing.
Yes, and you came with Shay.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It was the Geno's and Pat's thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we met in person, but we certainly knew you before then, and I think we may have been like internet friends.
Yeah,
because you had a haircut by that point.
No one Google that. No one Google what I look like.
You didn't have the long hair
No.
with like it was purple at times, and that was gone by the time we met.
Oh, that was gone? Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Okay, good. I'm glad that was gone
I'm less embarrassed. I do remember though at the Geno's and Pat's thing, it was when I was a vegetarian.
Yeah,
and I remember telling you guys that. And I remember getting almost spat on by, I think it was the Geno's guy. Those are the ones that have like it looks like Guy Fieri all over the place.
Yeah. Flash, all the Flash.
The Flash, yeah.
He was upset with you.
He was very upset with me that I was vegetarian.
He was like, why are you here?
Yeah. I was just like, bread and cheese, please. I remember that.
That's cheese bread.
And Nultz. Nultz was there too.
Nultz was the one that
brought all of you guys.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Ed Bassmaster was there, and a couple of other people too.
I feel old.
Long time ago.
Oh yeah, you're internet old, dude.
We're all old.
You're older than
as long as we are.
You're internet older than us. I mean,
Really? A little bit internet older.
in terms of being established. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You're a pioneer. That's what I'm gonna call you.
I remember watching you
guy.
guys back in the day, though. Like when I started, I was watching you guys.
Oh really?
Yeah, like all your songs and stuff. I remember that.
We had a backlog of songs, but
yeah.
Because I remember like really admiring the fact that you guys harmonizing together. It was like you see both you guys and you get the dynamic, and it, like, you guys nailed it every single time. I was just really impressed all the time. You know, this is mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing.
Well, but I remember thinking you were getting traction. You know, it's like, because there was a time early on where we were like trying to figure out like, who's doing this right?
No one.
you know, but
you
I mean,
certainly
the people
were.
getting the response were doing it right.
When I look back on your channel, the Charles Trippy channel, which was like, I guess you would call it your sketch channel. There were sketches, but
it was my channel. It was my only
your
channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just struck with how you were, like I said, pioneering, but you were inventing a genre of sensationally titled shareable content, like trapped in a claw machine. And then the thumbnail is you're in a claw machine.
Yeah.
Were you actually in the claw machine?
I was. I used to work at a movie theater, and my job was to restock the claw machine and to read ticket. Here's a fun little fact. Did you guys know those things are rigged? They're supposed to
I assumed, but
the claw is supposed to clamp X amount of times, like harder. So that way not every single time you win something.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to do it like every 20 times or something like that, you know. So 1 in 20 chance to actually get something. And I thought that was really kind of up.
Yeah.
So I would choose and I would make it like 1 in 5 or something like that, or 1 in 1. And I remembered one time
there's like a setting on the back.
it was like a setting that you had to kind of go into,
Like a flathead screwdriver.
yeah, it was like a computer setting and stuff like that. And it was so messed up. I thought it was so screwed up. So every time I would do it, I'd like take it down every single time. And the reason why I was in there was because I had to refill it again because my boss found out because he was like wondering why the thing would go from here to here.
The claw machine keeps
4
getting
days.
emptied.
Yeah,
You're like Robin Hood.
yeah, kind of, yeah, for cheap toys. Yeah, we thought that would be a funny idea. You know, I always wanted to do that because you see babies on the news getting stuck in a claw machine.
Right.
So I was like, why not? I got the key. Let's just do it.
And you
on
got
the job.
YouTube channel.
I was
on
doing
the
that
job.
on the job. I was editing and filming on the job. So
Did you get fired?
No, they actually supported it. I worked at an IMAX theater and I worked at another movie theater, like an indie theater. And that's where actually, without that kind of stuff, I would not have been able to do it because I was in college. You have no time when you're in college. So I would go to work, go upstairs in the production booth and whatever, cut the movies, press play, do nothing. I would drink with my boss upstairs. We would get Baileys and coffee. It's so cool, right? Baileys and coffee. We're awesome people, right?
Yeah.
And we would just drink, get drunk, move the movies.
Bailey's with the boss.
Yeah, right?
Switch the reel.
Switch to reel, which was a pain in the ass. To this day, I hate King Kong because I dropped it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's probably as big as this table. Well, you guys can't see this table, but like twice the width of this table. You know, it's just math.
Well, they don't do any of that anymore, Charles.
No, it's all digital.
It's all digital.
I quit it in the wrong time.
Another video, I Can Make You Yawn.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Which Rhett and I found ourselves doing a I Can Make You Yawn video 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we like search. We're like, I'm sure somebody's done this. And then, of course, you pop up from like 7 years earlier.
I didn't. Really? Was that long? Do you have that on there? Or
It
just
was like
those
6
notes?
years ago.
Okay.
I Can Make You Yawn. And then like best sleeping pranks. And it's got, the thumbnail is you with like the
dick
Sharpie on your face and
Yeah.
Pop Rocks and Coke Myth. It's just like, it was like premonition type stuff that you were seeing the future of what was going to work on YouTube.
Which is funny because I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
Nobody does.
But you had honed it to a craft even
Yeah.
back then, like the sensational titles, and people just, you had to click.
Yeah, you kind of do. Like I remember as a kid, my grandma would read those National Enquirers, and that's the only reason why I open those things. So I thought maybe kind of doing the same thing for YouTube would be the same thing. Because I mean, if you guys back in the day would watch anything on YouTube, you wouldn't watch like day 400 or untitled vlog. You wouldn't do that. No one would ever do that. That's why I kind of get annoyed with anyone with titling videos. They're like, oh, it's totally fake. You know what I mean? It's like, or misleading comments or misleading titles.
Right.
It's like, that didn't happen. It's like, would you honestly watch a video called Untitled Vlog 2000? Like, no one ever watch a movie like that.
Right.
Is it fair to say that you've tried everything? Like, I mean, can I name anything? Like boobs. Of course you've done boobs.
I've done boobs.
I mean,
Male and female.
But anything. I mean, in terms of the technology, whenever YouTube would come out with something, like, well, one of the most viewed videos on that channel still is longest video ever on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember.
And this was somehow it was before they probably put in the restriction back then because of you. It was almost a 10-hour video.
Yeah, and it was the restriction back in the day. There was no time restriction. It was only a
file size limit.
File size. It was 100 megs, and I remember that file being. That's why it looks like crap if you try to find it. It was 10 hours or something like that. But you know, when you stretch out and try to export it, back in the day, you try to do that on like I was doing iMovie 2006.
Can't do it.
It just exploded. So you would have to like compress it and compress it again and compress it smaller. I remember compressing it probably 10 times to get it under 100 megs to be able to do that. And then it got online. Now there's like no limit. You know, you can put a movie up there.
Right.
You can do Brain for 25 hours.
Is there a limit now?
There was a time limit too that they added later, and then you had to be a certain type of partner to have that removed.
But if you have that removed, can you just do it indefinitely?
If you look, you can look for like I've used sound effects. Like you can look like rain round sound, like on YouTube, look like rain and thunder.
Yeah.
And it's like 25 hours or something like that. So I don't think there's a limit anymore.
Yeah, there's probably not. But you would be the one to formulate these questions and then scientifically, by guessing and checking or compressing in this case, find out the answers. Of course, the next video you released was the shortest video ever on YouTube.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of like you. I had to do that. Somebody was so pissed about it. So I was like, you know what?
What was the motivation for, like, what were you doing at the time that was like, I'm going to do this YouTube thing and do it so
I'm going to bend
aggressively?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to bend YouTube to my
So
ends.
I started, MySpace back in the day. If you guys don't know what MySpace, it still might be available, but I don't think anyone uses it. I was doing that, and I had a bet with my roommate at the time to get more friends. I won, and then just kept doing that kind of stuff. And then I was making videos with other friends at the movie theater, and we would put on our website, and bandwidth sucked then, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to put a QuickTime video up there. You'd have to spend like $80 a month for like 5 views of your video.
Yeah, because you were paying for the hosting.
Yeah, so it's one person watch a video, like 100 megabyte video, it's like 500 megabytes right there.
You actually didn't want people to watch your video.
Yeah,
you're
like
to pay.
Don't watch it, seriously.
Right?
And then my friend Ricky lived out here, and he showed me YouTube. And at the time, it was only available to it was only really used for uploading a video, embedding it somewhere. There was no community or anything like that. So I was doing that, and then one day I was just on the site, and I noticed that there was like channels and subscription boxes and things like that. And I was like, all right, something's going to happen here. So then I was like, had so much time in the theater, I was just like, all right, so let's just keep making more videos, networking around. I did just kind of looked around, like Lisa Nova, like those are Renetto back in the day. Just kind of saw what they were doing.
Yeah.
And just kind of, even Naltz, he was back in the day too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just seeing what they were kind of doing, and then almost mimicking it, and just to kind of see that there was actually a channel forming. And once I saw that, I just dropped MySpace altogether. And it sounds obvious right now, but back then it was pretty.
No,
it was a decision.
It was a decision. It's like, which baby do you keep?
Right.
We were very fixated on MySpace.
Oh, we were trying
from
to
the
make
beginning.
it happen,
Oh yeah, and like a live journal back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and Friendster and all those things.
Uh-huh.
But no, and then it just I was like, oh well, I'm making videos. I'm just gonna keep doing this.
And you were watching other people, but I mean, there were sketches out there like the Lisa Nova. Lisa Novas of the world, and there were vlogging like the Renetto, or like the lifestyle vlog that like Naltz would do.
Yeah, it's like Renetto and Naltz were way ahead of their time. I think Renetto especially, like nobody got what he was doing. Like they thought he was this crazy guy. Then they realized he was. Well, I love Renetto, but I mean he is a crazy guy. But like, he would take a vlog, but he would make this like crazy sensational thing, like you were saying. And he would his head would explode or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I remember that one, or his Mentos or something like that. And then it would just make this like really entertaining vlog, but it was actually kind of like a skit.
Right.
So you kind of see what that's going on, and then you kind of like, just build off of that kind of stuff.
And were you thinking like, I mean, nobody was really thinking of a career back then, because nobody knew what it was going to lead to. But were you thinking like, did you have another thing that you wanted to do like as a career? Or were you like, I'm going to be a rock star?
No. Well, everyone has that kind of thing. I grew up on it with my dad and stuff like that. So I wanted that at one point, and I did that for a while. Then I quit to go to college. So I was in college, didn't know what I wanted to do. picked a bull degree, got that degree, then just kind of lived up in Tampa, where USF was, where I kind of like graduated from.
At what point did you make up the last name Trippy? That's your real last name,
That's
right?
my real last name.
Right.
And I'm the third. So yeah, it's actually
Trippy the third.
It's not a funny story. It's just kind of a sad story because when my grandfather came over here, grandparents, Ellis Island, they didn't want it with an I because it was too, I guess, Italian. So they made it a Y to be more American.
Mm-hmm. So it was Trippi.
Yeah. So if you see
Trippy.
So very few with a Y, but so like there's like what's his name? Charles Trippy, football player back in the day, had it with an I.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll see with an I, but very few with a Y. I think it's all my family probably with a Y.
Right. They're the only ones who made that decision.
Yeah,
Let's go with a Y.
We got screwed.
They did it to him.
Yeah.
The guy at Ellis Island.
Yeah,
did it to
it
him.
was just kind of like
changed it to a Y.
Yeah,
he
I'm
did
sorry. Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so when they got there, they're like, okay, that's still Italian. You're a Y. Get out there. You're welcome,
wow.
America. Yeah, kind of things like that.
Americanized it.
Right. Yeah.
It really works as a YouTube channel, though. It's
It does.
This guy's Trippy.
Because you'd have
Hey,
people
look at
like
his hair. It's long and it's purple sometimes.
yeah, exactly.
It's Trippy.
You would have all these people like with usernames like Renetto, Lisa Nova, stuff like that. Nolte, Kevin Naltz or something like that.
Right.
And you don't realize. I would sit there and think of one. I'm just like, I'm just using my last name.
It works, man.
Yeah.
It works. You had vision.
Yeah, I was lazy.
Okay, so at the time you're doing this early on, you're working at a theater, which is not typically the thing that leads to a lifelong career, right? And you probably didn't think so.
No.
So was it just like a game to you? Was it? I'm just going to see if I can master this.
It was kind of a game because there was also Google Video. Do you remember that before Google bought YouTube? That's kind of submitted and bought YouTube. So it was kind of like a game. We would upload a video to YouTube. We would upload a video to Google Video. I don't know if there's another website at the time. And we would see which video got more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we kind of like lay bets. And like with people we made the videos, we were like, oh my God. I remember there was a video out there that got 100 views. And we almost ourselves.
Really?
Like 100 views. Back in 2005, I mean, that was 100 views. I mean, you would pay it like 100 times on a website. That's insane.
Yeah.
But and then there was a comment, and you'd be like, "Holy, what's going on?"
Somebody saw this and was compelled to say something.
Yeah, they gave it 5
Amazing.
stars. What's going on here?
And you tapped into the social nature of it too. So I mean, you got your friends who you're like placing bets about things, but then very quickly you became known and you knew other people. At least that's my impression of it, right?
Yeah, I thought that was like the idea of YouTube is kind of connecting and making friends. You know what I mean? Through that, I am a very awkward person. I mean, you guys know I've met you in person a million times. I'm like very awkward and not socially awkward. Like I'm pretty good at it, but be this as our job. Like I don't like going out and going to parties and stuff like that. I'd rather just sit home and watch a movie versus because this is what we do for a living. We go out and we make these videos and we're very entertaining. So it was just kind of like one of those things where I just kind of liked doing it. And it's just weird. I mean, YouTube in general is just weird when you think about the whole. Should write a book, right? Everyone else is.
Yeah.
But you don't have time.
No, let's make a vlog.
Well, and let's talk about that because
Transcribe everything.
That was another. It's become probably the most significant innovation that you.
Oh, the daily stuff
is the daily vlog. So, okay, was anyone else doing that?
Shay.
Okay, so Shay started doing that just a little bit
technically
before.
Naltz. I mean,
Yeah, and Naltz was doing it. It just wasn't
before the time.
as consistent.
Yeah, he had a different kind of thing. It was like 2 minutes of him pranking his family or something like that. So
But
it
it wasn't
style.
every single day.
Naltz did it every day.
He did?
Yeah, because I remember it was Shay and I were talking about it. We thought it might have been the kiss of death if we made a video every single day because we noticed when he made one every single day, his views dropped. Mm-hmm. So we thought it might have been the kiss of death. I remember Shay and I talking about that for a very long time.
Yeah, because Naltz had like a slogan that was like, every time you take a crap, I make a video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was way ahead of his time. I mean, it sucks that a lot of people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of people did because he was a pioneer. He was one of the first.
But then you and Shay decided in parallel, right?
No,
was
Shay.
this a collusion?
It was Shay first, and then after the first month, he called me. He was like, "You better do this," and I was like, "Well, I don't know. My life is not that interesting." And he's like, "Just do it." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have like 7 kids, dude." And, it's like, I'm in college. I don't have time. So, and then I was just like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I started doing it. And if I watch the old ones, I cringe because you have the old flip where it's like jerking around Jello and stuff like that. The technology wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doing it like every day, that kind of wasn't like the goal. It just so happened. Because I feel like I'm I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to doing something. And like if I put my mind to something, I'm not going to stop.
So it's just the principle of saying that you started, you can't stop.
Yeah, you can't stop. And I never thought, like, I didn't realize I never stopped until somebody pointed out, like, a couple years later. They're like, you realize you never stopped in 2 years? I'm like, holy. And then at that point, I was like, okay, well, let's keep going. Let's make something of this. And then after 3 or 4 years, you know, somebody put in contact with Guinness World Records. And then I was like, all right, well, I better make this contact last. So I kept doing it. And then at year 5 or 6, they gave us that.
Right.
So I didn't there was no plan on doing it every single day. It was just like, I mean, it said daily vlogs, but I thought I was just going to do daily vlogs, you know, just whenever I got a chance.
Right. And now what's the unbroken streak now?
2,276. 7 years.
And the Guinness record, do you actually get like a plaque?
Yeah, I have the plaques at home. They're literally on my office. I have 2 of them now. They give you one every year.
Oh, really?
Well, they give you one every year because they update the book, but
right, and you still got the record.
Yeah, and they didn't give me one last year because they just kept the same record. But this year they saw the significant jump because it went from 1,500 to 2,700 or something.
Right,
like that.
so it's like, this is
This is a bigger jump. We should update it. So yeah, they literally give you this plaque. It's like an award. Not as cool as the play buttons for YouTube, but it's like a plaque. It says Guinness World Record, you know, little certificates and stuff like that.
Right.
And you had to develop, I mean, that developed over time. You know, there's an art form to doing the daily vlog.
It's like a formula.
So give us the formula.
It's you wake up, you introduce yourself. You wake up here, kind of like you guys do with this. You say hello.
Yeah.
You introduce what's going on. You don't really say what you're going to talk about. You just do it, and whatever happens in the day, and then you edit it at the end of the night. And then you see a community because you guys have a huge community behind this, and then you see that, and then you involve them, and then
you pick something. So at the end of the day, you're uploading how many days in an ideal schedule. I know sometimes it probably fluctuates.
Yeah,
it has to.
It depends on what
you can't really get ahead.
No, you can't. Well, it depends on what you're doing. Like if you're kind of, what do you mean? Like you can't be in the next day? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like there's no buffer because
you sleep and then you wake up and do it again.
Yeah, you got to do it again.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So you have to. You get home that night at the end of the day. You're like editing and uploading something that goes out the next day.
Next morning. Yeah.
So how streamlined has it gotten at this point in terms of?
I can do it in my sleep.
So, because I assume now that there's like you're self-editing as you're shooting. You're like, I know this is actually the beginning of this clip. This is the end of the clip.
Yeah,
I'm not trimming anymore.
Yeah.
So is it like you open it up and you just back to back, you just throw them in the timeline?
The J and the L on like Final Cut? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, exactly. You shoot to edit. First you used to just shoot kind of thing, and then Shay was always like, him and I would always talk about it because like him and I, our videos back in the day were like 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, like a TV show. And then we started like, all right, well, I started finding myself, at least he still does it, but I was like, I can't watch that much. And so I figured I shorten mine down a little bit. The more exciting stuff, like highlights.
Yeah.
And, but it's the same thing, like you said. It's like you shoot to edit kind of thing. So you know where it is. And then I've been teaching Allie how to do it too. So she's understanding that too. So when she edits some of the times, she knows how to do it. But yeah, that way you're not like, basically, because it's real. When you edit, it's real time, sometimes longer. So if you shoot like 60 minutes, you can't do it in 60 minutes. It's gonna take longer than that.
And then, so it's still either you or Allie editing at this point. There's nobody like comes in and be like, okay, you guys are sick today. I'm gonna come in and do this for you.
No. Got to do it. Got to do it through everything. I've helped. Everyone's helped me in the past. My parents have helped. My sister has helped. Alli Speed has helped back in the day and stuff like that. Right. Everyone's helped me. So
and there's certain points where it's like, oh, like I got to get to the internet in order to upload this.
Dude,
it's got to be like crazy moments.
Oh my God,
of desperation.
Touring is like the worst.
Oh, I can't imagine.
We've gone. I remember one day, specifically, it was a day I almost lost a record. It was in London, and it was pouring raining, and we got invited. Do you guys know the band Thrice?
I don't think so.
I know the one before it.
Okay,
twice.
Twice.
trying to make a
Dun-dun.
numerological joke.
There you go.
I can't even say.
Well, if anyone listening knows Thrice, they had a going away tour, and they invited the band because we were overseas touring.
Okay.
And they invited us to go watch. And that was one of my bands I loved as a kid. And I had to miss it because I had to walk around London in the rain trying to find the internet. And I literally would go up to people's doors in hotels asking if I could have their Wi-Fi password.
Really?
Yeah, and I got
someone
it.
finally said,
Yeah, and I got it.
Because if you don't, what's the rule? If it doesn't post before,
It's got to be 3 a.m. Pacific time, which is the day, because YouTube switches over at midnight, which is 3 a.m. Eastern. When I was over there, it was nicer because I was way ahead, but that was a pain in the ass. And then when we go anytime we tour, like we go to Malaysia, we go to Japan, we go to Australia and stuff like that. You find out who has really crappy internet, like how long it takes.
Right. But you've always found a way to make it.
There's always been a way. Somehow, if you find a way, determination, you'll find it.
But you're wearing the hat IKTV right now. That coining the phrase "the internet killed television."
Right.
Is you coined that very early on, right?
I've had that for I don't know how many years.
Before the daily vlogs.
Way before. I was like listening to the Buggles, internet. I mean, radio killed the internet star. Radio killed the TV star. I can't even remember anymore. What's TV? And I was listening to that, and I was like, I wonder if this domain's open. I just bought it immediately because I was like, holy, it's available.
Right.
And I just bought it for like 20 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. I just noticed that I was not watching TV anymore. I was watching all my friends on the internet. Watching you guys. I was watching Lisa. I was watching Shay. I was watching everybody on the internet.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's actually finally happening.
Yeah.
It's
dead.
Yeah, I mean,
or almost dead.
Almost dead.
Yeah. It's puttering out. It's gasping for air.
Right.
It's gasping for air.
Yeah.
It's buying the internet right now. That's what it's doing. The internet is, TV is now just buying everything to be on the internet.
Yeah, it's just becoming. Yeah,
it's molding in.
It's becoming television.
But
exactly.
But there was a point when there was a question if you would get to see your prediction happen with this whole brain tumor thing.
Oh, right.
So there's I want to go through this because there's a couple of layers here. There's just the fact that you had a brain tumor and you went through it.
Right, yeah.
And then there's a layer of, and you document your life every single day and you're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Because if you could, just between us and everybody who's listening, if you could ever come up with an adequate excuse for stopping, I think a brain tumor is on the list of excuses.
I thought so too, but no.
But it's funny because if you actually had stopped at the very beginning and like made an informed decision before you embarked on the daily content,
like
so
would have continued.
What if? Yeah, it's like, well, if I'm going to do this every day, what if something really bad happens to me? You know, I mean, do you recall thinking about that, or was it just Shay's doing it? He did it for 4 weeks. Now I'm going to do it, and I just said I was going to do it, so now I'm doing it.
It was just one of those things where I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like
there wasn't like what ifs.
No, I never. You're a kid, I was like 20 years old or something like that when I was doing all this stuff. Like a punk ass kid, stupid hair. I wasn't really caring. It's just didn't even think about like foreseeable things like that. You don't think about stuff like that. When you're a kid, you just think about what you're doing. You know what I mean?
But there was an announcement to your audience. I have a brain tumor, but there was some part of your life that made it into the daily vlog that gave inklings to, hey, something might be up, right?
Right.
Because you had a seizure first, right?
I had a seizure on tour, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tell us about that.
And I was on seizure. We were walking in Boise, Idaho, just before the show. We were trying to see that blue field because that's all I think is at Boise. So we were walking with Danny, our drummer, and then he said I just kind of did like a spin and just hit the face first. I had like a iced coffee, Starbucks iced coffee. Starbucks, if you want to sponsor me, I've been drinking you forever.
Yeah, but you gave him a brain tumor, so take that into account.
Well, save my face, so I landed face first on the iced coffee.
Okay,
on the coffee?
Saved by Starbucks.
Yeah, so instead of the
that
cement, I literally had a little gash and a hole in my jeans, which became very fashionable. But so just that happened. Went to the hospital, just hanging around with Danny. We were playing like games on our phone. At the same time, he had broke his arm like 2 weeks prior, so the band was a mess. And
I mean, a drummer with one arm is possible.
He killed it though. He killed it. Yeah, he killed it. Yeah, Def Leppard.
He Def Lepparded it.
Yeah, he just killed. We had our drummer, our drum tech, Yoshi, like at parts would just hit the cymbals. It was really funny, actually.
So you were making it work, but then you've got to go in, and you're like, well, okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, I had
to get a little checkup.
Yeah, let's go. I fell down. They took me to the hospital, the ER or whatever, and I'm just sitting there. The guy comes in, face is kind of like white, and he's like, "All right, I got something to tell you." And my immediate reaction on anything is humor. So I knew something was wrong with my head, so I'm just like, he's like, "I got something to tell you." And I'm like, "It's not a brain tumor. It's not a tumor or whatever." Immediately go to Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "No, sir, it is."
It is a tumor.
Like,
did he do the impression back to you?
No, he didn't. If he did, I probably would have made things much better. But obviously, I went, what? First, you don't understand it, and then, because you don't understand something like that. That's something I don't think very few people understand, and that's why I continue doing these videos, is because there's a lot of people out there to watch these videos that are going through that or have family members. And so we went through all that, had to go.
I mean, that has to hit you like a ton of bricks. Like
it
you
does.
said, at that moment, you're just...
But you're still young. You don't really get it. You think you're invincible. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, well, whatever. It's a tumor. Get it out.
So you didn't think,
I never
I'm
thought,
going to die?
No, and at one point I did think I was going to die. I just thought, like, whatever, take it out of my head. And he was like, all right, so, because the doctor that they assigned me to in Boise, which was a great hospital. Can't remember the name of the hospital. Great hospital, though.
That one in Boise.
Boise. I know Shay would know it. The guy was very confident about everything, and he was like, yeah, we could take it out right away. And I was like, okay, let's do it right now. And he's like, well, you have to be here for, 3 weeks? And I was like, well, I don't want to be in Idaho for 3 weeks. So we flew home. We found a doctor over there, and he got it out. First one was sleep. Like, I was asleep. They thought it was okay.
Well, how big are we talking about? The first one?
Golf ball.
Okay.
It was a golf ball.
A benign.
It was, well, technically all tumors they're benign is like a weird word they say.
Okay.
Because it was technically benign the first time, and then I guess it turned into something without treatment into more malignant.
Okay.
And went through the whole surgery, and then I always have to give credit to Alli Speed. She killed it with the editing. I couldn't do anything, and she helped so much with the editing on that because I was like doped up, like I couldn't even do anything with my hands. So she edited. That's why we didn't miss a day.
And that one was not. That procedure was not filmed. That
one was not filmed. And then,
but the whole process, though, it's not just the procedure. It's how much you have to make a decision. How much of this are you sharing
online? Yeah,
online, because I would imagine there's a temptation to say, well, I'll just share. I'll share just enough.
Right.
But then, well, let's just wait until this
comes
to a conclusion,
and
then we'll just give an update and say, this is what was happening. I'm filling you in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like YouTubers in their secret projects.
Right, exactly. And they go away for a while, and then they cast them coming back with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Brilliant, too.
So what did you decide? Because obviously you didn't miss a day, but it's not like every second of your day.
No,
you're editing.
Yeah, you're editing. It was one of those things where I just sat down. I was like, it was more helpful to kind of talk to a camera and not have somebody really say anything. It was just like, let me just vent. And then later, we can have the conversation in the comments. And then I started noticing people commenting saying they've gone through it as well. So I was like, oh, I mean, if they've gone through it, this is cool. We're having that little connection so we can help each other. And it was crazy. And then got that surgery. It was 2 years later. I had another seizure. I was like seizure free for like 2 years or a year and a half. And that's what causes those is like seizures. If you guys ever have a seizure, please get it checked out. Not to scare you, but just get it checked out. So they noticed something happened when I got back off a Warped Tour. And so I went back in and they said it was back. And I was like, oh, there we go again. And so they had to go to a different doctor. And I wasn't on chemo or anything. That could have probably helped, keep things regulated.
Yeah.
But
because it was in the same place, it just grew back in the same place.
Well, yeah, technically, the type of it's called an oligodendroglioma. It's a long word, and don't Wikipedia it. It scares out if you do, because
Did you do that at the time?
I did not. He told me not to, and I listened to my doctor.
Really?
Yeah, I did not do it. My parents did, and I could see the face, like look on their face, because there's like ones where like you can live your whole life or you can be dead in 2 years. So it was like one of those, and I was like, and I was super healthy. I was young, so. Just going through it all.
But the doctor, I mean,
he was confident.
Told you,
yeah,
we could take care of this. You could be fine, or you could die in the next.
Right. Well, he didn't say that. They didn't know what it is until they take it out of your head.
Oh.
Yeah. So we didn't know what it was until after the first surgery, unfortunately. So then they found out, and that's the worst part, is like you're waiting for results, biopsy, and you're just like, you think that would go a little bit faster. You know what I mean? They pull something out of your head. It's like, all right, what do I have? And so you wait for like 2 or 3 weeks, get the phone call. He's like, all right, well.
How are those 2-3 weeks then? I mean,
it sucks.
Because, I mean, you have to, at some level, you're coming to grips with your mortality, right?
Right, yeah.
And we're talking the second time now.
Oh, this is the first time.
Still the first time. Well, still.
Yeah, first time. Well, the thing is, like, that's what I think the vlogs really helped, is because it keeps your mind off of things. Because otherwise, you're just sitting at your house, watching TV, watching a movie, and you're just like in the back of your head, you're thinking about everything. Versus working. Yeah, because it becomes a job. By then, it was a job.
And every video, it's not like you mentioned it. How much did you process over those weeks of waiting? Of like, I
thought it was fine. I was just like, what's okay, whatever. I'm young. I can take care of it. I honestly didn't think about it much at all.
I guess what I'm asking is, did you ever find your vlogging to be a form of therapy for you? To find yourself processing things that otherwise you wouldn't have talked to Allie about, or your parents about, or your friends about. You find yourself verbalizing things that. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, because.
Or did you just edit the action points and your dogs into your videos, and it was just an escape?
It was kind of both. I would say more of an escape, probably, if you think about it, because you don't want to dwell on things. So it was kind of cool. Like every single day, I was able to just focus on every day having fun, and then just edit the video, enjoy. Let other people's watching the videos enjoy the video, and if they're going through the same thing, they could see that it's not a death sentence, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And then, so I just kept doing that, and then 2 years later, had another seizure, like I was saying, and then got another doctor's opinion, said it was back. This doctor said it was a little more serious. It was bigger. And so they showed me, I don't have the x-rays on here. We're on radio, so we can't really.
How big?
Yeah, this one was small, like a baseball.
Wow.
So it got bigger. So which was scarier because, they come back. These ones come back without treatment.
And your skull doesn't get bigger.
Your skull
your brain just gets mushed.
Your brain gets mushed. I literally have like a hole in your head. And it's like fluid. It's very interesting. And the x-rays are really interesting to like kind of see, especially before and after. Before, it's just like your brain. It's like a white brain. Like it's like just white stuff in your brain, like filler. And then when they take it out, it's this black gap. And then it's like fluid and things like that. And your brain can't grow in there. Your brain's already grown. So you can't isn't it like when you're like a certain age, your brain's fully grown or something like that?
So as the cancer grew into that baseball, it just pushed it over.
Yeah, it was a tumor though. I think cancer and tumors, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's like as the tumor grew, it pushes your brain over, which causes things like seizures and other things like that. Some people smell things, like they'd be like, who's cooking steak or something.
Did you experience any
Nothing else.
Other weird stuff?
Nothing else. Sometimes like they can't see color. It's weird. Like it's just kind of like mine is on the right side, so it's the right frontal lobe, so it's supposed to be like your motor skills on your left side, which sucks as a musician. So you lose everything, right? Or when they take it out, you could be the best musician ever. So that's what I was hoping for.
But you didn't experience any real physical changes?
Just a seizure.
Just a seizure.
Yeah, and that's what everything else was fine. And then they did this surgery. The guy said he needed to get this surgeon's the rock star of surgeons. He was like, he would tell me stories about how like him and the other guy, they were best friends, were in like punk bands in med school in Boston, and they would go below the hospital, and like there was an abandoned part in the hospital, turned it into a punk venue. And this is my brain surgeon. He's telling me all these things.
When you said he was the rock star, I just thought you meant he was really good at brain surgery.
He is. No, he's
also
both.
Meant
Yeah,
also
both.
literally a rock star.
He was just awesome. He's
Okay.
Italian. He's an Italian guy. He's one that actually brought all the news from when Kurt Cobain had his OD in Italy, and no one would give him the information to America. He was on the phone with Courtney Love and Kurt getting all that information back over here. It was him because he's Italian. So he's the rock star. And so he's telling me all this stuff. He's like, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be awake. And first off, I'm like, what the you're awake?
Yeah.
And they was telling me like you don't feel anything. You don't like, once your brain's like head's open, you can poke your brain.
Yeah.
You
No
probably,
nerves.
you probably lose, like you probably be dumb, but I mean, you're not gonna
It
feel
wouldn't
it.
hurt to get dumb.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to be dumb. You wouldn't know you're getting dumb, I guess. But
And so that's the first thought is, oh, I'm awake. Second
Yeah.
thought, can I film it?
yeah, it was. It was actually. I was like, that was actually. I don't know why, but I know my mom and my dad were like, "What are you thinking?
Right.
Why is that the first thought and stuff like that?" And I'm
You like asked the doctor?
immediately asked the doctor. I was like,
He
okay,
said
so
what?
He said, "Sure."
He said, that sounds cool, man.
He did. He actually loved it. He loved the idea, and he's like, "Sure." He's like, "What kind of camera is it?" He's like, "You can't have a crew, obviously." And I was like, "I have this little camera right here," and he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So I bring it in. I have the, I guess there was two surgeons. There was a main surgeon, and there was another surgeon, and the other surgeon was like trying to figure out how to do it. And so I literally had, I don't know if the clips actually made it in because Alli Speed actually edited for me because I couldn't do it, obviously. Couldn't do anything. So
That makes sense.
and the other reason why I couldn't do it is because right after the surgery, they gave me the nurse, idiot. I don't know why she did this. She gave me the camera like right after the surgery. And the first thing you do after filming anything, you're like looking through things and you're like, oh, what the hell, what is this? You see your brain. And then I had what's called a, what's this called? A stress attack or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because you were watching the footage back
Of your
your own
brain.
brain being hacked at.
Right, like 20 minutes prior. So I had this effect, and like the guy, another surgeon, I mean, that nurse came in, grabbed my camera, and she's like, "What the are you doing?" They had this argument, and so she did all the editing for that. So I didn't see it for a long time. Literally, I haven't seen the.
But you were telling them how to use the camera to film the thing.
I told them how to, and then they saw me how I was doing it because I was like filming it, and then my arm just went down. And they're like, okay, so we got to do this. And so the surgeon.
You were trying to hold the camera.
I was trying to hold it with my left hand, and that's the arm that actually was affected by the tumor.
Oh, gosh.
So I was actually filming for first, maybe, I want to think it was like 10 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds.
I mean, there are tripods. That is
yeah,
a thing.
but I wanted the more like, you gotta have the vlog thing. If you
Yeah.
have a tripod, it just looks like a surgeon video. But so
Right.
he's like right in front of my face. He's like, so what are you thinking right now? I'm like, talking about, I don't know what it was.
This is one of the nurses.
The surgeon, another surgeon.
Oh, really?
There's
Let me hold that camera.
So they were comfortable like adding a layer of documentation that they became the documenting their own process.
Right.
For
They
you.
could have like seriously malpractice suit. They could have screwed themselves over.
I
But
know. It's crazy that they allowed it to happen.
Yeah,
but
they-
it's so
Not
cool
only
that
did they allow it to happen, they started
They
doing
did
it.
it. Yeah,
They're like
they actually
holding the
did it.
camera.
Oh, I
and
dropped the camera in his brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were like asking you questions, and like you were talking about the surgeons and how great they were. You were
Yeah.
talking about fans and how great their support was.
Let's
You were vlogging.
I was telling, apparently they said I had my humor totally was intact. I was like,
You were groggy.
I was
but,
groggy.
But
To
you,
this
there was
day, I've
humor
only watched
intact.
it once. Yeah. It was,
Oh, really?
It was in there. I watched it maybe a year ago. It was the first time I ever watched it.
Oh, really?
Because there's two versions. There's the censored version, and because Shay Carl actually came out to when the surgery happened, and our singer actually came out as like moral support. Shay and Cassim came out the first time. For the second one, Shay's there, and he's with Alu, and they were editing, and she's like, I don't know what I should put in. And Shay's like, put all of it, like Shay always does. And so we made two of them because it was pretty intense.
Graphic,
You
yeah.
see blood, but it's not like gushing blood like
But you see the
Some-
brain some,
you
right?
see the brain,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look. It looks like if you took Jello, it put like pink
Don't
Jello.
be so hard on yourself.
Right. It was a
brain's
giant
not like-
brain. It was a giant brain. But it's interesting because I watched the uncensored version recently, and it's interesting that they can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do they figure that out?
So it was cool that they did that. But then, I mean, on an emotional level, I think the thing that when I was watching through it, it was,
Which one did you watch? The uncensored or the regular one?
well, I'm actually talking about kind of
The whole story.
the story around it and how, I mean, it's so compelling because it's so real and it's so just a part of something that you had committed to.
Right.
You committed to something
Right.
blindly, and then when this happens, you stuck with it.
Yeah.
And as Rhett and I watched it, I remember our conversation. I was very curious about the emotional side of it.
Right.
I think that I was very curious how you were dealing with it, and then how much of that would be conveyed to the audience.
Right. I think a connection really formed on that one because like it was cool because you're connecting with people. Maybe 10% of people have something like that or are going to relate to that. So I was able to vent to somebody that knew. It's like going to a support group because they told me I should go to support groups because it messes with your, not to be joking, but your brain.
Yeah.
But your mental state. And I refused to do any of those just because, like I said earlier, I'm a stubborn person. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go on tour. I wanted to go play shows. And here's the funny thing. Right after that surgery, after the first surgery, I was back on the stage touring overseas in Europe in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. And I still had the freaking, what's that actor in Fifth Element that has the hair, like that's over, the bad guy?
Oh, yeah.
What's his, Gary Sinise? Not Gary Sinise, is it?
It's Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yeah.
Yeah.
In Fifth Element, that's right. I look like that, minus the little collar and stuff like that. Overseas, so I would wear a helmet. And over like 2 weeks overseas. Second one, when I was open brain surgery, I was back on the stage in 3 weeks. Because they told me, they were like, well, if you can do it, do it. And I was like, all right.
Yes, I mean, you had this like big circle of
like
a
horseshoe. Yeah.
of a horseshoe just right there over your right eye, and your scalp.
Yeah. The Indianapolis Colts actually sent me a care package. Dead serious.
Thanks for getting our logo.
Yeah.
That's
upside down, though, yeah.
Yeah.
They totally did. It was really funny.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was really hilarious, too. But, yeah, it was pretty gnarly kind of situation. I thought it was more of like that was my moral support, the internet. And I feel like things came together really well in that.
How low did it get, though? I mean, there had to have been moments where it was like, if you said, I never felt like I was going to die, even the second time, I mean, what? There's got to be those questions of
process. You don't process. It doesn't hit your mind. I don't think when you're going through that stuff. It's just, at least me. I don't think death. I always think of it as a situation kind of thing. Like I'm not gonna die, but I'm going through something pretty. But I know there's somebody else going through something. Like there's somebody probably going through stage 4 leukemia or breast cancer or something like that, and they're going through really bad chemotherapy. They're losing their hair. They can't speak. They can't move. I know there's unfortunately people going through those things. So when I'm able to talk and I'm talking to people back and forth, and I realize this situation sucks, but it's life. And you got to go through it.
Okay, well, let me see if I can get at it this way. Because what I'm still trying to find in there is that moment of fear.
Okay.
The fear. I'm trying to find the fear. So this is my last ditch effort to find it.
The drugs help.
I think it's, okay. I think it's, did you make any plans for,
like situations
if you died, what would the video be? Like how are you going to video your funeral?
I actually did give my password to Allie, and I've said, make sure to film and keep going with this thing. I did tell her to keep going.
But you didn't say, if I die.
I didn't say, if, I said, if something happens, please keep this going. That's all I said.
Meaning the channel or the camera? The
channel.
Okay.
Well, the camera too, I guess. But they're going to go in there. Because I remember in the video, you can hear, they're like, Charles, can you hear us? Charles, and you just hear my arm fall, and I'm not able to respond. And then you hear clink, 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 and we're done. And so they stop. So they stop filming. But it was mainly for her. I wanted the channel to keep going because I didn't want to build something and then make this community and then just die. Because unfortunately, if I passed away, I felt like it needs to live on because it was bigger than me at the time.
So you didn't think about an epic drone swooping shot across your funeral?
Well, that would probably happen too.
DJI? I need another crash of mine.
But then it would keep going after that.
Yeah, I wanted it to keep going, But never thought about that part. Thanks, Link.
Hey, you won.
I got to give you my password too.
You won, and we're all going to die. Right. And there should be a drone at all of our funerals.
Yeah, just DJI, like phantoms, drones all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Open casket, right?
Yeah, really slow right over there. Somebody's going to do that. Okay, now you've mentioned Alli Speed a number of times, who was with you in the middle of all this, and of course because your life has been out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, everything's. Yeah.
We all feel like we know a whole lot about your relationships and the things you've experienced, and so we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Allies.
Yeah.
First of all,
I'll say what I can say.
Yeah.
So there's three.
You've actually met all three.
All of them, yes. So they're like one of the very first times we met after the the cheese bread.
Yeah, cheese bread
incident.
YouTube Live, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We met Allie, who you were already kind of putting your life on the internet at the time, not in the same way.
That was on the
but
Charles
like
Trippy channel, yeah.
the famous hot air balloon proposal video,
yeah.
which I don't believe can be found anymore.
No, I think that's been taken out because it was owned by a different company.
Okay.
Yeah. It's filmed by a company.
But that was sort of like the beginning of like, I'm gonna put myself out there.
Internet,
You're gonna know about what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And of course, kind of looking back on it, we just want to hear it from your perspective, right? Because I think that there's obviously the thing that people always talk about and joke about. It's just like, does she have to be named Allie in order for you to be with her?
Doesn't John have a book like about that too? like a life full of like what is it? A bunch of Alleys?
An abundance of Catherines.
Catherines. And somebody wrote. They made the book Abundance of Alleys, and I was like, okay, that's up, but all right. No, I mean, like honestly, it just happens. It happened like that.
But it's not a policy.
No, it's not a policy.
I only date girls named Allie.
Was there when you met your current girlfriend,
Allie West?
West. When you met her and you found out her name was Allie, was there this might be a deal breaker? Are you going to have to call yourself something else?
No, it wasn't a deal breaker. It was more of like, oh, this is going to be weird. Now, it actually wasn't going to be weird for me because a name's a name. I don't really care. Some people date several Johns in their life. You know what I mean? Right. It just because it's on the internet, I think it makes it weird.
And it's back to back to back.
And it's back to back to back. Right. Yeah, it's interesting.
But I think the bigger question I think that everybody has is just the whole process of what happened between you and Alli Speed and leading up to you and Allie West.
Right.
And can we at least tie a bow on the fact that you had a proposal to Allie number one, and I'm sorry, I don't know her last name. Allie with a Y.
Allie, still Allie R.
Allie R. Okay,
yeah, let's do that. So
but then you guys never got married.
No, we never.
Right?
Did. No.
Okay.
Her family wasn't very supportive of the YouTube thing, so it's kind of like one of those things that's like you do things that you love. If the family's not supportive, it's like deal breaker.
Yeah.
So. Now I wish I can go there and just be like middle finger, do the whole like Homer Simpson going down the sand pit, like in the movie. Just
right.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, you got to have, at least family supporting what you're doing, even though it sounds crazy, and that didn't happen because, she didn't like it. She didn't support it. Her family didn't support it. So immediately off the table.
But, so Alli Speed, that was, you guys got married in November 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, she was on the channel, and the daily vlogs were already happening, so she was incorporated into that.
Yeah.
The engagement, the actual moment of engagement, was part of that.
Right.
And no hot air balloon, but that one took.
Yes. I got a fear of flight, hot air balloons after that one. Yeah. No, I mean, like she's a wonderful woman. I never want to talk bad about her. She's a wonderful woman, very strong woman, and she's helped me through a lot of things. And it just so happened that it just worked out this way, but all that fun stuff. But yeah, though life. The reason why that's on there obviously is because life happened from 2009 to 2015. Yeah, and so life has happened for 7 years, so that's why that's on there and documented and stuff.
Well, I think coming from the perspective of we see you on the internet a lot more than we see you in person. So
it's an unfortunate thing, isn't
right?
It?
So it's like we kind of. We see your life being lived as your fans see your life being lived, right? So when I remember the announcement video. I think you called it "We Need to Talk," or letting everybody know that you guys were getting separated.
Mm-hmm.
And to quote something from that video, over the past couple of months, Allie and I haven't been getting along. We have been arguing a lot more than normal, and it's just been getting worse and worse, and we've just been becoming more and more unhappy and stressed out.
Right.
And of course, as two guys who, we've been married for a while,
right?
And and of course, the fans kind of responded in the same way. We heard that, and I was like, "There's got to be something beyond this," because what you described is something that happens in every marriage relationship,
exactly.
Right? And just as a fan watching your videos, nobody had any idea that there was anything that was wrong,
right? And the thing is that I remember a long time ago we decided. When the video started that I felt there was too much negativity, that I didn't want to do negativity on there. Watch Jersey Shore if you want to watch that. You know what I mean? I wanted to show positive because the idea
drama.
Yeah,
conflict.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
The videos may have been a lot better.
Yeah, it's not like a reality show.
I mean, it's like a homemade reality show, but we have the control over it. So it was like one of those things. It's like a time capsule almost. A little bit better, I guess to say. And the idea was when I get older, that whole idea of these videos, when I get older and I show my kids, I want to make sure they know I was cool at one point. And so I wanted to show like, cool little things that I've done in my life and remember cool little things because I have a terrible memory prior to the tumor. And maybe that's all connected. I don't know. But I wanted to have something that I can look back on and kind of reminisce and see all these cool things I do. Because, I mean, you guys probably know that all the cool you guys do, you probably don't remember half of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And it certainly resonates with me when you say, this is the show I was in charge of. It was also my life. And it was, I hear you saying it was, you and Allie, it was your life together for that stint of time.
Right.
And you made the decision to not exploit that for the sake of entertainment value. I mean, you could have done that, like you said. That would have been entertaining. That's what reality TV
People
is.
like that.
Is just
slapping somebody in the head. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And but that was a very difficult video to shoot. And thinking back on it, I wish she was a part of it. But to be honest with you, it was a very difficult thing just to shoot by myself, and whole thing was a difficult situation.
It seemed like it was almost like I'm just going to do this, almost like it was a spur of the moment. It certainly didn't seem like there was
like
any
a plan.
Like
I just turned on the webcam. I think it was literally shot on my webcam.
Yeah, it wasn't like a prepared statement by any means.
No, I rambled forever. I didn't know what to say, like because you go with what you're thinking and stuff like that.
But it wasn't satisfying as a viewer.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
for some people they want more. Everyone wants more, especially, and I respect that. People are invested in watching these things for sometimes. Like some people I met today, 7 years, since day one, and I understand, I respect that. But at the same time, it's hard to, it's like mom and dad divorcing or something like that. It's like, why was it us? You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to explain that. And it was a very difficult situation for both her and myself. And we didn't know what we were getting. We didn't know how to deal with it ourselves. Mm-hmm. So to explain that to 1.5 million people, how do you do that? And I just, one day, I was like in the day, I was just like, I had something in my head and I just turned on the webcam, literally used iMovie and just started talking.
Right.
And, just said what I...
And had you guys discussed, I mean, obviously you had made the decision that you were getting separated, but had you discussed the process by which you would let everyone know?
Oh, we did. And like I said, thinking back, I wish we both were on there to explain it. It would have been better to sit everyone down, so to speak. But for me, it was just one of those spur of the moments things. Like you said, I just had something on my mind I wanted to say. And when I watched it again, I was like, this seems kind of genuine. So versus me kind of like going back and, hey guys, blah, 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 turning on the real camera and stuff like that. I wanted it to be more genuine, speaking from my heart. And, things happened, and there's definitely things I wish I would have done differently. Obviously, everybody wishes when you think retrospect, Captain Hindsight. But very difficult time, obviously.
Yeah.
And I do apologize to everybody who was, affected by that. Her family, people watching the videos, my family, everybody.
Is the decision that you've made that, okay, we've moved on, obviously, each of you.
Yeah.
And so there's no need. I don't want to ask the question. I just want to ask you about the principle of not shedding any more light on it. Like what, even though that was kind of a spur of the moment thing, that was kind of at least that's the last thing I've said that you've really kind of gone on record about it.
Right. Well, I mean, I've done stupid things. Everyone does stupid things when you're angry and stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I definitely wish I could take back, and you say things when you're angry and stuff like that. But I see what you're saying. Like, it's happened a long time ago. She's happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy for her. And I just want everyone else to, move on. Yeah, it was a situation, and I do apologize. Things suck, you know what I mean? But it's life, and that's the whole point of these videos. It's kind of what I'm saying is like, that's the whole point of these things is like, went through a brain tumor, filmed it, went through a divorce, filmed it. This is life. Everyone's going, your parents might go through the same situation. Things like that happen. And kind of the point of what I was doing with the videos. I didn't want to stop, didn't want to hide it or anything like that. Can't sugarcoat that. Mm-hmm. You can't put a CGI person or something like that, a replacement or anything like that. You have to explain things.
But there was, leading up to the separation, there was a lot of editing that had to be made, right? There was
Right.
people went back and they wanted to find out where they could see the signs. Like,
Right,
now in
yeah,
retrospect, I can
yeah.
see it. They weren't together.
Yeah.
Or when they were together, it was like this.
You're right. Yeah. There's
You
people
know?
always going to, you got to, it's like a treasure hunt for some people.
And they want, when the attachment goes so deep as seeing a couple go through brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's, how did you experience the backlash? Because I have to think that people were upset.
Oh,
she
yeah.
went through this brain surgery with you, man, and
Yeah.
then you're gonna,
No, of course. And
they want. I imagine they've thrown you under the bus.
they've thrown both of us under the bus.
Okay.
Which sucks. I mean, in any relationship, they're going to throw, because people feel betrayed. And I respect that fact, because people are invested in you for so long, and then it's just over. But it's not so much over. Like I said in the video, it's just the next chapter. It's what happens in life. Is like there's relationships and breakups all the time in life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everyone's gone through a breakup in life. Maybe some of the younger ones are going to, so it's going to suck, but it happens, and you go on to the next chapter, and you make yourself happy, and you want happiness for the other person, and you just move on in life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you expressed in that video that you wanted to remain close to Alli Speed.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's the relationship like now?
Well, we were very cordial. We aren't very close. Obviously, there's still some some things we're still working on, because it's a hard thing to go through emotionally. So it takes time to heal. I mean, both for the internet and both for us. You know what I mean? I know the internet's still healing over that, and we're actually still healing over that. So I know a lot of people are like wanting that quicker, and it's like we put all these videos on the internet, and I know people want to see things quicker, but we're still healing. Life's still healing. So.
But you come to something like VidCon, you cross paths. That's the difficult thing.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're very cordial when we see each other.
Yeah.
We see Phil's wedding and things like that. We're very cordial. I mean, we don't hate each other.
Yeah.
But it still takes time to heal wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy she's moving on. She's getting her life together, being happy as well. So, and I have a wonderful girlfriend as well. We're moving on with our next chapter in life.
And was there? I mean, that whole process of like, okay, I've announced this separation, and now I've got this new woman in my life. Mm-hmm. How did you make decisions about when you were going to introduce?
Right, I see what you're saying.
Allie, to your audience, because obviously there's the internet is just completely full of speculation about the timeline, and I'm not going to speculate about that.
Right,
internet has done enough speculation about
people
that.
Think things, and gotta love Reddit for digging even deeper. But yeah, I mean, people find timelines, but it's not what it appears on the internet. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that's what it was. And unfortunately, people have made wrong assumptions on all accounts on so many things. And, we were wanting to take our time to introduce, we were still taking our time. So we didn't want to rush into things as well, so we had to take our time before we made the decision to, essentially introducing somebody to anybody, even bringing anyone into a vlog, for me is like introducing to your family.
Yeah.
So it takes some time to think about it and then eventually do it. But unfortunately, things happened and we were forced really quickly because people were making wrong assumptions, and things got really out of hand really fast on both for her and for myself. And can't have that. I didn't want that. The hate was affecting too many people too quickly.
And how did she handle that coming in? I mean, obviously, when you just look at it from an outsider just watching your vlogs, it's like, hold on, this was a happy family a couple of months ago.
Right. Yeah.
And now there's a new girl, and she's named Allie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and then they think just because of the worst thing I would have to say is just because things are on the internet doesn't mean it's what they are. Because just because somebody likes a photo, likes comments or something, likes an Instagram photo, they assume the worst. Like if you like something, for example, your wife isn't going to think something like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I've liked food to pictures of walls, to anything on Instagram. It's people take that and run with assumptions. And I feel like that's where the internet kind of needs to just trust people and
just to clarify, you're addressing the allegations that there was a relationship before.
Prior, yeah, in which there was not, and that was completely wrong and out of control. And I felt bad because Allie West was being brought into something like this, and she was taking it like a champ, but deep down she was hurt, very hurt, that people were saying things and assuming things based on nothing. You know what I mean? Just assuming assumptions. And she's taken some time. It's been a year and a half. Everyone's moving on. And it's great because, you know, life is moving on and stuff like that. She's able to come to these VidCon things. She's meeting people. People are, you know, kind of apologizing to her mainly for making the assumption that, you know, not giving her a chance and stuff like that and saying horrible things. And I understand. She understands too. So, you know, she talks to him that, you know, people get hurt and, you know, they say things really quickly without thinking. And it's nice to see that the internet's coming back together because there was a rough year and a half.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys have moved on, but we appreciate you taking the time to talk about it.
Of course,
and
to
talk about everything.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is actually the first time I actually got to really talk online about it. So it's I was kind of nervous. About that, but you know, hopefully everyone understands it and doesn't take things the wrong way. But you know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for you know, being open.
Oh, yeah. And what now? I mean, is there an end date to the vlogs? Are you going to do it?
What's the date? The 27th.
27th of something.
Something. We don't know. Yeah.
Some 27th.
The 20th. You'll never know, guys. I actually,
as long as you keep doing it, it's a record that no one can ever break. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah. It's not like setting a world record in like the breaststroke.
Yeah. You have to wait at least 7 years for somebody to break it.
Yeah, right.
So I'll have 7 years of being nervous. Yeah. So I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I had so many cool things that could probably happen in my life. You know, the band's still touring a lot. You know.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that.
Yeah,
but now you're a rock star in addition to all these other things.
Yeah,
so
that was fun, a great thing that I kind of stumbled into because we've been friends with it as a kid. You know, recording that, filming that. You know, the process of that, doing the albums, and just life. You know, eventually, I'm saying this down the line, guys. Don't get assumptions. You know, kids. You know, down the road, a family. And it's really exciting to see down the road to be able to document that too. Yeah, that's a huge process. I mean, you guys have kids, so you know how that is.
Yeah. But I guess if Shay is any example, eventually you just won't be able to keep up anymore. You're gonna start dropping days once those kids come.
Yeah, I was just gonna say once he got on day 18, I'll have to stop. Maybe stopping a little bit. Or kid 18. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we don't want you to stop, so keep going, and we wish you the best. Thanks for letting us process all this with you.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me on here. Here's a fun little game, guys. Go back and listen to this and see how many times my voice cracked.
Okay. All right.
And are we gonna vlog? We're gonna put a vlog. You vlogged before we started.
Yeah, I'm gonna vlog it right now.
Vlog at the end.
You guys are gonna be in the vlog.
People know that you survived it.
Okay, guys. So we're just now ending. What episode number is this?
Whoa! Now you're getting really technical. I mean, 80 something.
Okay, 80 something of Ear Biscuits, and I just wanted to say I'm vlogging on it. So I'm vlogging on it right now.
Do you feel good?
I feel
because you were like, I don't know how this is going to be. You said you didn't know.
I didn't know what it was going to be like. I actually was really this is what I sound like. This is actually kind of interesting. But no, we actually talked about a lot of things. I was really super nervous. Luckily, these guys are people I've probably known probably almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Getting close.
Almost a decade.
Yeah, getting old. So yeah, you guys can listen to this whenever they upload it. When do you guys upload?
Let's see. Well, we're batching these, so it'll be a few weeks.
We're gonna make you wait a little bit, but
probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever talked about, and they got it out of me.
All right, check it out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries.
And there you have it, our conversation with Charles Trippy. Tweet at him, guys. Let him know what you thought of our conversation. His handle is Charles Trippy. Use hashtag earbiscuits.
Yeah, and especially we want to just express that we appreciate him being so open. He told us after we finished recording that he was nervous about coming on here, knowing that we would ask some questions about his relationship with Allie. And you know, he's lived his life in front of everyone out there who watches his content, But that's he can edit it, right? I mean, it's his life and he's extremely open about it, but he has the ability to kind of present it in a way that he's like, well, if I don't want them to know about that, then I won't tell them. But he had the courage to come on here and let us basically grill him towards the end there about these questions and the internet speculation.
And address some of that.
Yeah, so thanks to Charles for doing that.
We appreciate that. Tweet at him, let him know what you think. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the conversation was it was a refresher for me going back through his experience all the way to the beginning of YouTube with how much he did help shape what so many people after him started to do. Like I said in the intro, developing a genre of clickable internet content, even before the daily vlog thing, just having
he was one of the only people that was getting traction on those kind of videos way back in the day.
And pushing the medium in a lot of ways, not the sketches and also just vlogs and everything in between that just became clickable, thumbnailing, titling, name any aspect of it, and you could always kind of look at his channel and figure it out. And I was reminded of that. One thing we didn't talk about, another example of experimentation, was the live stream where he and Shay Carl and It's Brent, you remember this, all three of them decided to see who could stay up the longest, and it precipitated from the new technology of live streaming and people doing live casting. Like Justine was broadcasting every moment of her day, even when she slept, and a couple of other people were doing that on Justin TV. I think they were on Blog TV when that started. I can't remember. I think that's where it was. Not Ustream, not Justin, but Blog TV. Because we went into the chat room, we had met him in Philly, and then we were like becoming more of the community, so we were able to enter each person's chat room, and I don't know how long they stayed up.
Who won that? Didn't Shay Carl win it?
I think Shay may have won, but it was days that they stayed up, and they were broadcasting all of it on the internet. And, at a certain point, they were all like falling asleep in front of their webcams, which is hilarious, with people in the comments like talking to them.
Maybe we should do that again. I don't want to be a part of it though. I hate staying up.
Oh yeah, me too.
It gets past midnight now and I'm just like, what is this, a lock-in?
But it's the spirit of experimentation and pioneering captured in that moment that it's just like, okay, you can live stream. Let's do it without sleeping. It'll be fun. He and Shay were spurring each other on, even with the daily vlog thing. And it's just a lesson and a reminder that when you try things happen that you didn't expect. There's unexpected byproducts that might lead to your career or breaking a Guinness World Record or doing 7 years of videos every single day.
That continues to be the thing that just blows my mind. And, as coming from two guys who, yes, we do have a daily internet show, but we're not constantly broadcasting our lives, and we don't have to personally edit every single second of video every single day. And I cannot believe it. I really cannot believe it. There's no one's ever going to come close to the record. I mean, there's just no way it's going to be broken. I mean, first of all, it continues to build every single day, right? But there's no way anybody else is going to break that.
Well, it's possible, especially if they invent technology to age twice as fast. Would that count towards catching up?
Well, the reason it will never be broken in the way that he's doing it, which is someone who's filming it and then editing themselves. But when it becomes like a robot camera that's on you that does an automatic vlog,
that doesn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't count because that's going to happen. That's next.
I think the bigger question is why on earth would anyone develop technology to age twice as fast?
Oh, I didn't even. I heard you. I thought you said. I assumed that you said age more slowly. Because that would have made some sense. I didn't really listen to you.
You got to age faster. Every one of your days has to equal everyone else's 2 days in order for him to catch it or her to catch up with Charles.
Well, in 7 days from now, we'll have another ear biscuit for you, and Charles Trippy will have 7 more vlogs for you. That's sort of that's the pattern that we've all established.
And you can count on all of us
as
we've established. So we'll speak at you next week, guys. Thank you.